Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome. We have with us here today an absolute legend of the sport, number 8 ranked lightweight heavyweight contender who takes on Khalil Rountree this weekend. Anthony, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you're taking on Khalil Rountree Jr. on short notice, who is on a 4-fight win streak. How do you feel
Mhm.
going into the fight, and how has the weight cut been so far?
I feel good. I feel really good. Physically, I'm in a really good spot. I didn't have a long training camp to get all banged up and injured. Of course, you always wish you had a little more time, but I've always done well on short notice. I don't think I carry a lot of the same nerves and stuff that a lot of people do. So I've been doing this a long time. Back in the day, I didn't know who I was fighting until the day that I showed up to the fight. So 2 weeks is longer than I had a lot of times.
That makes complete sense. But going to the matchup, how do you assess him as an opponent since he's on a 4-fight win streak?
I don't really look too much into the win streak, um, because none of those guys are me. So he's always gonna. Everybody always looks different against everyone else, and then they come in and they fight me totally different. You can take that back to Johnny Walker. You can take that back to Ankalaev, Ryan Spann. Like if you go back and look how they fight me, they fight everybody else different. So I don't really weigh that too much. As far as his skills, he's crazy, man. He's pretty good. He's powerful, really technical on his feet, super fast, really athletic. He does a lot of things very well.
That's right. And besides being one of the toughest competitors in the sport and an absolute legend of the sport, you're also one of the most revered analysts in the game. So, could you take us through your game plan for the match and how do you see the match playing out?
Well, I don't want to give up too much of my game plan, but in terms of how I approach him, I just have to not let him do his thing. If he's comfortable and you don't put any pressure on him and you don't come to him and you let him walk you down and come forward and stick you on the fence, and let him play. He's a really good sniper. If you let him sit back and not make him uncomfortable, you're going to have a really tough time beating a guy like that. So, if you kind of look at the guys that Khalil beats, he does really well with guys that are super technical and let him they play that technical game. That's not my game. You know what I mean? I don't fight like that. I make it ugly and dirty and nasty, and he's going to have to work for this one, and he's going to have to dig down deep and go to that next level, and he's going to have to find a way to fight from behind. Because no matter what happens, there's going to be a moment where he's ahead, and I'm going to have to battle back and get ahead of him, and he's going to have to be the one who's going to have to dig deep and do something that he's never had to do, and that's fight from behind and try to get him. That's my game plan: is go in and make it ugly and put pressure on him.
That makes complete sense. All I can say is I think we're in for a treat, a great matchup. So, a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Strickland made some comments about Khalil Rountree Jr. Do you think Strickland's brand of brutal honesty is something that can help his title reign?
Um, Listen, that's just who Sean Strickland is, and anytime that I've been around Sean Strickland, and that's including today, I was just around him. Um, you never have to wonder where you're at with him. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
if he likes you and if he doesn't, and I appreciate that about Sean Strickland. Contrary to what a lot of people think, he's willing to give knowledge. He's willing to help people. But if he doesn't like you, he's going to tell you about it, and you have to respect that. You have to respect his brutal honesty. Whether he's got a title or doesn't have a title, he's going to be honest and he's going to be his true self. So I appreciate that about him. I know a lot of people don't like it. I probably wouldn't like it if he was talking about me.
yeah,
But I respect it, and I think that's really what it's about. It's not about being liked. It's about being respected. It's nobody has to like you, but Sean Strickland deserves the respect. That's for sure.
So I also wanted to talk to you about the light heavyweight title changing hands so frequently in recent years. So do you like this
Hmm?
activity? And what do
No,
you think
I
of
mean,
the landscape?
no, I mean, I don't like it because I don't have it. If
Absolutely.
changing hands ended up in mine, that'd be totally fine. I wouldn't be so bad with it. But um, no, I mean that's good. I think that shows that our division is one of the most competitive out there. Um, I think if you take the top 10 guys in my division, any of us on any day could end up being the champion. I think that 135 is the same way, except for, short of a couple people. I think that O'Malley could be champion. Corey Sandhagen could be champion. A healthy TJ Dillashaw could be champion. There's a Marab. Like, there's so many guys in that division that could be champion on any given day. They can all beat each other. So I think light heavyweight's similar. I think we're all just very closely matched.
That makes complete sense. I also wanted to ask you about your thoughts on Alex Pereira as the light heavyweight champion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Alex is good. I think the things that he's done with his skill set are incredible. I think he's a great striker. He's a physical specimen. I think his mentality is probably what impresses me the most. He goes in there and he walks through the fire and doesn't take a backward step. And I think he's growing quickly especially at his age. His ground game is coming along nicely. I wouldn't say that he's dangerous on the ground or, he's a jiu-jitsu guy, but he's competitive enough to be safe with a lot of guys. And listen, man, the guy's got like 7 UFC fights. He's beaten like 4 champions. Like, you can't really discredit anything that he's done. And when I speak about him as a potential opponent, that's different, because that's how I look at him compared to my skill set and what I think I would do to him. But if we're talking about just his run as a champion, his run at 85 and 205, they're going to write a story about him someday for sure.
Since you brought this up, how do you fancy your chances against Alex Pereira, considering that you are one of the most well-rounded fighters in the division today?
Yeah, I think I give him lots of problems. I think that I'm experienced and enough of a veteran to figure out ways to work around the problems that he brings. I think that there's been a couple guys that have gotten takedowns on him that aren't the level of jiu-jitsu player that I am. I think if Jan Blachowicz can take his back, I can take his back and finish him. I think if Yuri Prohaska can get takedowns, so can I. I think I would do very well versus Alex.
That'll definitely be one of the best matches we'll see. Anthony, again, thank you so much for joining us. I just want to wrap this up with 2 rapid fire questions. So, who wins between Leon Edwards and Colby Covington?
Man, my brain says Leon Edwards, but there's part of me that thinks Colby Covington gets it done.
Sure. And who's the best striker in the UFC roster today?
Ooh, that's a good question. The best striker on the UFC roster. If we're talking pure like kickboxing striker, I would say probably Dustin Jacoby. I think we're MMA. I think probably Sean O'Malley.
Got it. And who would you consider the best grappler on the UFC roster today?
Best grappler. Probably Diego Lopez. That kid's good. Andre Muniz is pretty good. Brendan Allen's pretty good. Probably one of those guys.
Sure. And who's the best light heavyweight of all time, according to you?
Oh, John Jones.
And who would you like to fight for the title if there's another shot? Like, do you want to fight Alex Pereira, or is there someone else in mind?
Yeah, I would like to fight Alex. I hope that when I get to a title fight, Alex still has it.
Sure. So I think that's pretty much it. Thank you so much, Anthony, again for the time. Good luck this weekend, and we can't wait to watch you this weekend.
Awesome. Thanks, man. And you take care.
Thank you so much.